actually started looking them up when I got the shirt at the last con. I mean, I know obviously the first one, and then I know most of the names of the characters, but it's like I need to do research on the actual. I recognize them all, but I couldn't tell you what the heck shows they're from. It's funny because one of them from another show was like, "That's me," and I was like, "Wait, look, tell me." But this in itself, how many there are right now? You know what I mean? How many pairings there have been? Like this gal I was talking to yesterday, her name is Beth. She's writing or pitching a show to a web series, or I couldn't tell if she was produced it or it was happening, but she's grew up in the 80s, and she was saying this would never happen in the 80s. I didn't have any. There were no characters on TV, and so there's a little bit of excitement to be here, but also like I could tell the youngsters like, be happy for what you have. This is amazing. We kept talking about the show. So she's trying to pitch a show that is a group of, it's like 5 couples or 10 couples, I can't remember, but they're all grew up in the 80s, and they basically in the show address the fact that there was no representation with them growing up and what that feels like, and then hilarity ensues. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, it's amazing.
Go. Hi. Back when you were on Mistresses, I know that you were really active on Twitter with like the homowrecker crew.
Yeah.
And I was wondering what kind of differences you've noticed with like interacting with like you were a smaller fandom for versus the Ava that's been online.
It's amazing because mostly Mistresses was I was I wonder how on record I am right now. Very. I was a little mad how they handled that. And I think I'm literally coming off of this whole funeral thing at the panel, and I'm like, oh my god, this happened to you. So I'm very vulnerable right now. So I'm gonna say it like it was. I was mad, and I was very nervous that this was gonna happen to me again when someone had a question at the panel about Ava and getting that character and what that would mean. And after the chem read, if we took it where we wanted it to go, and I remember being very nervous that it was gonna be another like. I don't even want to say gratuitous, but they just didn't follow through with it, and they made it wishy-washy, and it was like, oh, we're going to do it because it's what we should do, and then we will, it'll work, and then we're just going to, it just wasn't taken seriously, and take it, like, you can't take something like that and just kind of not be clear, and this is why when I chem read with Ava and when I spoke to the producers and I knew where they wanted to go, because I knew her history after looking up the show, because I hadn't watched it, that she was very promiscuous, and I was like, wait, are we going to go here, or are we just going to do another coupling, and then at the end of the season, because it was only a 1-year contract, and I was like, and then at the end of the season, she just disappears. I don't want to do that again. I don't want to touch it. I want to be in for the long haul and build something. And they were assured me, and you can never be sure. We're not the big wigs. We don't, that you can't believe the networks and the studios. Those are the people that the letters need to be written to, and those are the people that need to be, constantly beating down the doors of, because it's them. When it trickles down to us, you think that we have the power as actors. We do, and they promised me. And thank goodness, they followed through it, and Katie and I have such great chemistry, and we're going to hopefully do this for seasons to come. They followed through, but I think it's a fine line. So just going back to the Twitter, I mean, I felt like I let people down a little bit, but I loved the people. I grew very close to the people. You know what I mean, on Twitter. I don't know if that answers the question, but I think I was just very frustrated that it just stopped, and then I had these wonderful women that I love that were still there, but I just felt like I still have lunch with Shannon Thompson like all the time. I'm like, God, why did they just do that and then stop that? Why did that just go away? So I'm glad that that was in 2015. Look how far from 2015 to 2019 representation has come. On television everywhere, and in film now, I think.
Right. Up here. Hi. Your show is now being shown in a lot of countries, and I was wondering if you noticed any difference in how fans from different countries react to the show, to you, to your relationship.
I think you can see, how do I put this, more of the I'm really learning about cultural restraints from the fans of the show and the way that we communicate. So, when I'm speaking with someone and it's South Korea, or like you're speaking with someone in different, from Brazil to places, you start to feel their shame of their culture or their frustration of their culture of acceptance on top of being themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like they want to be themselves, and then they want to be themselves in Korea or in somewhere where maybe they aren't as celebratory at all to even love who they want to love. Thank God in the States we love it. We love who we want to love. We're very lucky to have that. But I think when on Twitter, and it's always hard because you have to translate. So like you don't know if you're getting the right translation. Like on Instagram, you push that little translate button, and you're like, I hope that this is saying what it says. Like I have a really hard time, and no one knows, and I live all in alone in a bubble, and I can't because of and then you're thinking, God, and the government's on top of it. Like, so that's just a whole other level of, like you sit there and think back and read something about the fucking Sultan of Brunei who can literally die right now. Like we're still, you can't believe that still exists. You know what I mean? So I think on Twitter, because it's the whole world, different parts of the world, we get so American, where we're trying to push for everything to happen in America, but the other part of the world is so screwed and behind and stoning people for the most simplistic thing that we have as a right in America. That's shocking to me. And yeah, to then have a secret Twitter account to be able to, that's what's scary. It's a very responsible thing, to read those messages. I think that's so, it's fixing, so much fixing.
Has coming to ClexaCon specifically changed your view of fans? I know you've been to other conventions, and I know that queer fandom can be very passionate. Is it any different here for you?
I feel like, I don't know why, I feel like those are the only fans I remember. Like I do, it's because like some people that, when I walked out the first, this morning, it was immediate, the fans that I remember, and I think because we share real stories, like it's not someone coming up to just get an autograph, it's, hey, I have a specific story, or I make merch and I'm trying to raise awareness for this cause, or I'm 12 and I came out to my dad, and so I think for me, it is different because we're sharing, it's not just like fandom, it's like, it's deep, it's stories, it's connection it's not like I put your show on and like most shows that I watch and I have popcorn and walk around and kind of am in and out of it, like it's a super connection, and and when you said that, that's how I am with my wife, and then when they wrote that, that's how I am, or that's how I am with my partner, that's how I am, that's how I feel, these are my pronouns. It's like I'm learning while we're learning, just to have that is a completely different thing than just a fan coming up saying, I think you're a great actress, I think you're always honest, I think you're real, like totally different. I feel like it's like having a sandwich with your contractor or something and having a sandwich with your sister, or your brother. It's going to be a different experience all around. I don't know why I said contractor, I think it should look like that. Why did I say contractor? It should look like that.
You have a question?
So Legend is one of the best shows in terms of diversity, with great characters like race, sexuality, and religion. How does it feel to be part of it?
It's changed my life. It's changed my life. It's the hard thing is it does feel there is an amount of responsibility, and like I think every season, I don't even think I knew what I was stepping into, other than just, again, you have to remember how long we're shooting and then hiatus and then shooting and then hiatus. So I got on the show, I want to say, was it 2015? 16, 17, 18, 19. So, and then you shoot and then you have this 6-month hiatus that you're wondering what the hell you're doing with your life, because people are going to work and changing the world and you're like waiting to shoot your show, So hence why I do charity and all of that and this stuff, obviously. But I think I wasn't expecting what it was gonna be, And now I'm feeling so much responsibility, but also having to. I get a lot of, and not just LGBTQ, and not just representation of any kind. I'm getting mental illness of whether you're gay, straight, bi, they, and like I don't. Mental illness is a whole other thing. So then that comes on board, and that's another serious thing. So you start to feel a little like I just want to help everywhere I can, but then also make sure that you're taking care of yourself. So like I've had sabbaticals, which I say to people, you need to get off social media all the time. It's it's hard because it's needed for this kind of stuff. I talk about fans that are out of, on the other side of the world, excuse me. But then you get people that are just, I know that this is hurting their brain. I know that this is hurting their inside and their heart and their self-image. Their self-image. I have a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old, son and stepdaughter, that I know that this and Instagram is just breaking them. I don't even want to say, but I just know sexuality of young people. Like I see questioning sexuality in very young people, 10, 13, 3, 5, now it's happening, and then you add this. Like, can you imagine? It's just like I think that I love being a part of it. I'm a part of it, but I do take for myself as well, and I want to have anyone say that that's my biggest suggestion when you're feeling mentally out of control is to really shut down all of that stuff, at least from a handheld perspective where it's constantly in your body, in your pocket. Like, make yourself go to a computer and have a morning of 30 minutes with it, and then come back to it. But then what happens is I feel terrible. It's a different thing, So, and I do all my own social media. I don't have anyone that does it for me. I don't have a person that's sitting. That's why I've posted nothing the last however long, because I went through, a few hard things. So it's, I think I'm happy to be a part of it, but I just want to be the best I can be at it, I guess.
So what is one thing Ava needs to learn this season, in season 4, in order to be successful with her relationships? Not just to Sarah, but everyone in her scope.
I think it's the control thing. It's the wanting to be everything, to be kind of planned and in control. I have it in my life a bit. It's way gone. I have way more of it, and I play Ava with way more of that. If you met me 10 years ago, like I knew what I was doing with my life. I knew how it was going to be. I knew where I was going to be at a 1 year, a 5 year, a 10-year plan. Now I've had so many different twists and turns in my life that I know that you just can't micromanage like that. So I put that into Ava. A lot of Ava at the very beginning is why she was so stuffy. I wanted her to have somewhere to go, to loosen up, to have Sarah bring that out of her. I saw that in a lot of couples, no matter what the couples were, that there was always a little bit of a alpha beta situation. No matter, my dogs have alpha beta. I'm like, you two gotta figure it out. So I wanted to make sure, because I knew that it would be more complex, that Sarah was such an alpha to be the other alpha. So I think, what I want her to keep learning is to just be more beta, take a back seat and be okay with that.